Hey everybody, I am having the time of my life. Here we are with another edition of the TheGroveCast. I'm in Ohio. I'm with my family, and my brother's over there acting dumb like he always does. You'll get to see him here in a minute. But we've had a great couple days here. I came down here for some family time. We took some to my dad. As all of you know, my dad passed away probably about 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years ago this October, and we finally were able to put his remains into the ground. My mom bought a plot. So I've been down here for the last couple of days, and we've been having. It sounds weird to think that we're doing that, having a good time, and yet with this family, it really doesn't matter. We have a good time for the most part. So this evolved into it was going to be the baby, and he'll be here in a minute. But right at this moment, it's like, man, let's just get the whole family involved in here. So we'll be moving right along as fast as we can. If we get a little bumpy, it's because I keep hitting the table. But I want you to look and meet with all these people that were out begging on the side of the road looking for a way in. They needed a home, and I've fed them, and I've bathed them, and I've changed a couple of their diapers that are over this way. I'll let you know for sure who's what here. But my nephew Luke, my oldest brother Cecil has been on here a couple of times, and he'll probably end up being on here because he just can't stay away from anything, can he? But this is his middle son Luke. This is his beautiful wife Cheyenne. This is my beautiful niece Rebecca, who was almost on one if I had the sound turned up when she was on at that time. Remember that? This is her fantastically handsome husband Jake, and my other niece Olivia, my sister's girl. I call her Liver, right? Yep. You guys all look like you're scared to death. You're in their house, so it shouldn't be that bad. So I'm here today to talk about how blessed I am. Something just broke. To talk about how blessed I am to be in this family, to talk about how God has blessed us. Luke is a preacher of the gospel. You've been preaching for how many years now?
It's been.
I need you to speak up.
3 years. 3 years? 3 years.
Always look at your wife for the right
answer.
Right. 3 years?
3
right?
years.
Yes.
3 years, yeah.
And I shared online when he preached, him and Jake both, they preached in a revival, online revival, because of this lovely virus that is probably still going to be going on even when this thing comes out. Did a great, fantastic job. Luke, what do you do for a living?
I work with my father-in-law, her dad, cutting concrete. Cutting concrete.
How do you cut concrete, with a knife or what?
Oh, with a saw. Yeah, you can try with a knife if you want. You might be able to after a couple of years, but
the knife isn't going to last very long.
Not
if I do that, is it?
Yeah, not too long.
Now, you and Cheyenne, you guys met in jail, so you want to talk about how that was? Or,
Pretty much. It's at my dad's church, so you could say the same thing, I guess. No, we can't.
Held captive every Sunday. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No. So, yeah, we got introduced. A guy that went to a preacher at the church. Was pastoring at the church that Shai went to at the time. He used to go to Liberty, and then he called me one Sunday afternoon saying that he found the girl that I was meant to marry. So, and then he ended up introducing us a couple months later, and that was that, pretty much.
Isn't it interesting when somebody finds the girl you're meant to marry?
I know, yeah.
Was that dude married too already? Or
yeah,
no?
he was already married. Yeah.
Oh, no wonder. That explains a lot then.
Yeah.
And so Cheyenne, you're just reminding us today that she met Cecil first.
Oh, jeez.
And hey, man, be quiet now. I'm trying to record. She met Cecil, and she still wanted to be in the family. Because if I'd have met him first, I sure wouldn't want to see what his kid looked like. Right? Thank goodness there's another mix of genes involved in that, right? But anyway, Luke comes along, and they get married. How long have y'all been married now? 3 years?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
What was the 3 years? Oh, you've been preaching for 3 years, right? And so, Shai, tell us what it's like. Your family, you've got a beautiful mom and dad, a beautiful sister. Was it much quieter in your house than it is with us?
No, they're pretty loud. But you guys are on a different level. Yeah.
I'm taking that as a
yeah,
compliment.
they're loud, but you guys are on a different level. So.
I know. And we can't go anywhere until they know when we're there, for sure, don't we? We've had more car rides, lots of other stuff going on right now that I don't even want to talk about. It's been hilarious. But Cheyenne, being married, now see, knowing that you didn't know Luke was going to be a preacher when you married him.
No.
How does that work, and how do you guys have that dynamic? And because your dad speaks too, right? Your dad preaches, or
yeah.
You kind of understand that lifestyle to a degree, but I mean, obviously it wasn't a problem, but how did you feel?
Well, I mean, honestly, deep within my heart, I always said I would want to marry a preacher. So,
Luke said, "Here I am."
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
God will give you the desires of your own heart, right? Then you marry into a family that's got 17 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good, right? And so Cheyenne is a health nut. I don't know if you can tell her or not. And I'm talking about maybe an enthusiast. That's what I should say, a health enthusiast. But You're into the essential oils, and Luke weighed 290 pounds. Look at it
It's
now.
almost right.
Yeah.
It's almost right.
He lost two foreign countries after he married her right here.
About
But
the
you always good with dieting and doing stuff, and I'm not going to ask you to do any of your tricks and exercises right now. But health conscious, why do you think it's important, you guys both being healthy together?
Oh, it's a goal. I mean, it's just another thing you can do as a married couple. It's fun to work out together. You know what I mean? It helps you have the discipline to be able to do it.
True.
But and then it's just fun to do, really.
Yeah, I mean, you feel good.
Working out feels
Makes life
good.
a little bit easier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes it easier. I guess my life is hard. No, I feel better when I do watch what I eat. We've had grease and ice cream a lot today, so I don't feel very healthy. But I'll just drink some coffee later on, I guess. Health is very important, though, isn't it? I'm sure that's what I like about that.
Absolutely.
Rebecca, I remember the day you were born. I remember when Melissa called and said they were going to have a baby. Remember that? Whenever it was the third baby. The last one, they stopped trying because they finally perfected it, right? That's what she tried to say. But Rebecca, if you know Reagan, y'all know my daughter Reagan, anybody's watching this thing, you're looking, this is not Reagan. Sorry, Luke, my hand's like right there in your face. But Rebecca, and how old are you, 25?
I'll be 25.
You'll be 25, right? August.
August, yeah.
I got that one right. And being raised in a preacher's home, give me some stories. We got all night long here with your brothers and stuff, but how thankful are you for that?
I'm very thankful. I think sometimes I take it for granted when I see other kids around me that haven't grown up in that. And my parents taught me about the Lord from the beginning, so it gave me a really solid foundation to build it up on. My brothers, even though they picked on me, they even would sit down with me, read the Bible, and teach me and everything too. So, very grateful.
One of the greatest stories I hear Luke tell is that Andrew led him to the Lord when they were little.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, good night. Well, you can't get any better than that, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know where they led Rebecca. They might have led Rebecca out into a field somewhere. But
I probably did.
Yeah, there was a lot of, but I think your family, you always had that to hold back to, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
It was always good.
Yeah.
Even when they knocked your house down without telling you.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
That's a different story, right?
Yeah.
And then Jake from State Farm, and he even wears khakis every once in a while. We love Jake. Jake's coming into this family. Now, your family life, how much different is it than coming into this circus right here?
Oh, my mom and dad, like my immediate family, my mom and dad, my sister, we cut up, laugh and stuff like that. My extended family's kind of the same. We all just have fun,
Yeah.
loud, crazy,
Good.
the good stuff.
Yeah, which fits in with here pretty much for sure. When you fell in love with Rebecca, it was probably because you knew you were going to get me for an uncle, right?
Something like that. Actually, I didn't know you existed for that. There was a period in time where I was like, you have an uncle that lives in Michigan?
After that soaks in, I'll probably cry for a couple weeks. Well, there went my story right there. I thought I had it. Coming into this, though, what do you guys learn? Because a family is just, this is what we're all talking about, family. Family's not just this family or that family. It ripples all the way out. So we all, mom, I'm going to get my mom in here if it's for 10 seconds. But mom and dad, they met and fell in love, and now we got all this, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't know with your family starting what it's going to end up being in the next 30 years, right? Mm-hmm. How important is it to, what's the main, obviously the Lord is too, but what keeps the family tied together and loving each other? What's the number one thing you think? Any of you?
I think it's what you said, love, but it's not. I think people get confused love for an emotion.
Yeah.
Or a feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, that can be a part of it, but it's a choice.
Sure.
It's, if I say, I always heard it explained to me this way, I like to say this too, I think we can all agree. If I say I love you to you, that means I'm putting you before me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I do that, then, and you love me, and you are putting me before you, what can really separate us then?
That's right.
And if God's in the center of that, it can't be broken.
Absolutely. That's very well said. You got two people doing that, then you can't go wrong, can you? You guys, anyone to add to that, Shy, when you think about love, family, ice cream, right? Right. But you know what I mean, right,
Yeah.
Rebecca? Same thing, right?
Yeah.
As Libby sits here, and I want Libby to talk because she doesn't talk much when she does, but she is our graduate this year.
Yes,
and
I am.
this, congratulations. And this, of all the years, with this lovely, I don't even want to say it, this virus has wiped out the senior year of a lot of kids, right? And changed it completely. How have you found strength to get through this? Because there's 2 days for a kid, especially for a girl. You got your graduation day and your wedding day.
Oh, yeah.
And the wedding day ain't happening for like 30 years anyway. But when you get to your graduation day, how have you navigated through this whole thing?
I just tell myself that this isn't my whole life. I have a whole future.
Yeah.
And this isn't going to define my life. So,
Right.
you know, it'll be okay. But it sucks, but it'll be okay. So.
That's tweetable right there, pretty much, isn't it? And it does.
Yeah.
But you got to walk and get your diploma. It doesn't
Yes, I
really
did.
matter who's watching, right?
Mhm.
And that's just as real as anything else. What's your plans now for, I know what they are, but that computer doesn't know.
I'm going to the University of Akron in the fall for business administration. Gonna major in that, and then I'm gonna.
What kind of business are you going to administrate?
I want to own a bakery
He's
one
all
day.
right. He's all right. Oh. Chigger owns the place, man. It's fine. He's good. What now? You're going to do what? You're going to own a pie eating contest? What did you say?
I want to own a bakery one day. Maybe go to culinary school. I have a big passion for baking, so.
She's got the talent too.
She does.
I'm telling you
She's
what.
really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have I ever had any of your culinary?
I don't
You're
think
missing
so.
out,
I don't
man.
think so.
What?
You should see what she can do with a sugar cookie. Oh my goodness.
It's amazing.
I'm telling you.
It's amazing.
No, we
I'm
make
telling
Christmas
you.
sugar cookies.
Literally.
I was busting them out,
That's
and he
incredible.
was working on like 3 of them. I had like 10.
It's true. It's true.
Or get over there and make
It's
some, man.
incredible. I know.
I don't care what time it is. Let's go.
It is
That's all.
10:35.
What's your favorite thing to make?
Cupcakes.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll have a cupcake edition of the GroveCast here one of these days, starring this girl right here.
If I come to Michigan, I'll make cupcakes for the church.
Well, there went the if right there. You're coming then for sure. So you're planning on going there? It's going to be a 4-year thing, right? You're gonna
Yeah, I
stick
think
with
so.
that probably.
Mhm. If I stick with it, yeah. We'll see what happens.
Well, what would keep you from sticking with it?
Culinary school. I kind of am leaning towards going to culinary school more than business, you know. 'Cause
Okay.
I think I would be more happier. So.
Well, you want to get started with it and then get going there, right?
Mhm.
But what has this, with this year being upside down like it has been, what's it taught you about life?
Not take it for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had half a year of senior year. And,
No.
you know, I'm grateful for that, though, because the seniors next year, their whole year will be messed up. And I had a normal half of a year, so I'm grateful for that. So.
Always looking on the bright side.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's all you can do.
I know, that's for sure.
Yep.
You guys, anybody, I want all of you right now to look at it again. This is the most serious question I'll ever ask you. How great is it to have me for an uncle?
It's awesome.
Cheyenne's the only one not laughing.
I know.
Uncle
What's so
Brian.
funny, man? Hey.
That's the best response you can get. You all laugh. It's true. That's your personality. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, I mean, laughter is the best medicine,
It is.
right?
It is.
Yes.
Right?
What would you guys tell everybody? You're in a mixed age. We got young marrieds. We got somebody. This is actually a perfect start to the family part here. You guys being married a couple of years, starting out in life. You're going to graduate. You're going to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Free nursing care for the family, man. That's what I'm looking for. You're going to graduate next May. A lot going on. How do you look at trying to live? Because like right now, as we talk, our country's upside down, and we're all getting pretty tired of it. How do you stay focused? How do you keep your mind from just going nuts and thinking everybody's going crazy? What keeps you, as young married people and as you starting out on your, I can't even believe you're out on your own. I can remember you being a baby, and I mean, I'm sure Jake and Cheyenne, I'd remember you being babies too if I'd have been around you then. But how do you tell people who to focus on and how to get through that? I know it's the Lord. I'm not trying to answer your question, but from your own perspectives in all your areas of life, how do you stay anchored?
I think even with this time with not being as busy, it's really helped me be even more in depth in like my Bible studying and everything like that, and just dwelling on that every day and spending more and more time in it. It's really giving me just more joy and peace and everything about carrying on throughout the day and whatever you have to face the next day, and spending more time with Him in
Sure
prayer and everything like that. Because it's a relationship you got to work on every day. So even adding more time to that, it's just made it even easier to get through it. Still, there's hard days, but you lean on back on those Bible verses that you read or what the Lord has shown you. You can just grow stronger every day. So.
Even those verses now, I remember when I was a little kid, You know, even in my old age right now. That's why you know the word never returns void, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else want to share?
Just putting God first and ultimately trusting Him.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. It's one thing to say it, but you have to do it. You have to trust Him. Put your faith in Him.
A lot of people give good lip service, don't they? That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mine's just solely relying on God, trusting in Him, looking to Him for everything, knowing that no matter the problems that I face, He's bigger than all my problems. You know, He's able to do exceeding abundantly more than we could ever ask or think. That's just what the Bible says, right? In in the New Testament.
Right.
I think of that often. I also think of Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which is my favorite Bible verse. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not to thine own understanding. Acknowledge Him in all thy ways, and He will direct thy paths.
Yes, sir.
It's just plain and simple, right there. That's something I always. If I'm having a hard day, that's the first thing that I think of.
Sure. Amen. Luke?
I won't act like it's not hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I think we can all agree that, especially in times like this, you have questions. Let's not. It's the fact of the matter. Like, God's in control of this virus.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And this is happening for a reason. And
Absolutely.
so sometimes, even as a Christian, you wonder why. I'm not gonna act like we don't. I'd be
Absolutely.
dishonest if I said I didn't. But I think it comes down to, I think we complicate so many things, especially as we get older in a Christian walk, and
Sure.
and just us as humans, we complicate things. But it comes down to just what they were talking about, just simple faith.
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe God knows all, is all powerful? If I really do, then I just gotta trust Him with it.
There you go.
And if I trust, and I do believe that, that's the faith that I have. And it's what anchors. Dad was talking about. It's like it's the anchor of our soul.
Right.
But so if that's our anchor, somebody like Him, then what do I really have to fear?
Amen.
You know what I mean? All this stuff can be all around you, but I don't feel tossed. It's like James, somebody who's not anchored in God. James talked about it. They're like tossed in the wind. I'm paraphrasing it,
Right.
but we don't have to feel that way.
Right.
If we have, it's just simple faith.
Right.
I don't, and that doesn't mean I know all the answers, because I don't.
Right.
But I just know that He does know all the answers, and if I can rely on that, then what do I really have to worry about?
That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
Just being real,
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I serve God. He does.
Yeah,
He's gonna trust
exactly.
me.
Exactly.
He's driving.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot better than when your dad's driving.
A whole lot better. A whole lot better.
Oh, he heard that. Libby, you're going out on your own, but kinda. You're going to live home the first semester here.
Yep.
So when things start coming, people are going to start challenging you. College is not high school,
Yep.
right? What are you going to do? How are you going to handle it?
I mean, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna turn to God. I am working on it. I'm trying to turn to God more and work on our relationship. And it's a hard thing, but
Yeah.
I'm trying my best.
You're at that age now where it's going to you're stepping out now. I mean,
Yeah.
You're washing your own clothes, right? I mean, it's a big time.
I've been doing that for a couple of years.
I just started last week, so
Oh,
I know what I
really?
did. But this is big time, and this
Yeah.
is the next step in all these steps that you got. But I want you to look around in this room, as nuts as we all are. You get in a bind and you need to pray, you need some help. You know you got people that love you.
Oh, I have great influences in this family, yeah,
Bless your
for
heart.
sure.
For sure. We
Yeah.
love you. Love you. Thanks, guys. Next wave can come in here. I need Mom and the baby and the Lexi, right? And this is the moment we've all been waiting for. This started out becoming, it was going to just be these two at first, and then as we kept talking, I'm like, man, I got so much of my family here. We got to make it out. This is, besides the Lord, this is the reason I'm here. This woman on July 11th, 1968, almost in the middle of church, right? Was it on a Wednesday night?
Yes.
See how good I am? I was almost born in
Yes.
church on a Wednesday night
Yes.
Bible study. What time was it in the morning?
6 o'clock.
In the morning? Or at night?
6 o'clock in the morning.
See, and I'm not a morning person, but here I came out in the morning, and that's
Right.
probably an accident, right? They were in Bible study or a Wednesday night prayer meeting. They were going to go get ice cream. It's a hot July night,
Yeah.
and July 10th. So I'm
Yeah.
not too far into the 11th.
Right.
And I said, no ice cream for you, right? And here I was, and so here I am. This is my mother. She just turned 76, like what, 3 weeks ago, I think?
Yes.
This dude closed out the running in the Farmer family on November 16th, 1979, right? He closed out the 70s with the disco dance and stuff going over here. Justin, Leon, Nick, and Ryan, you got your way. He's on here now. Justin, the baby farmer, here he is.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you got it right now. This is going to be the most watched cast in the world. Everything that I do, we used to get in the room with the tape recorders
Yes.
and watch TV and pretend like we were on radio stations and we would do all that stuff. Me and Deke on the tape recorders.
Yes.
Now look how God's blessed us when He called us to preach and do the stuff He did.
Yes.
When you being a mom, how do you look at you have your kids and you watch them grow up? Do you ever look at them and go, I made a mistake with that one because I don't know what's going to happen to him, or this one over here? When you watch, what makes you proud as a mother?
They're all Christians.
Good.
They're living for the Lord, and I have 2 sons that are preachers, and one son that's living for the Lord, and
That's you, man. You got that? Okay.
I'm not a preacher, but
It rhymes with preacher. It's a creature. Yeah.
Well, I was saved in 1961, and I was 16 years old, and I always thought when I get away from home, I wouldn't have to go to church. I had to go to church all my life.
I didn't know that. You were a rebel, weren't you?
Yeah, and I thought when I get away from home, I wouldn't have to go to church. But lo and behold, my mom and dad were praying for me, and some people came and invited me to church, and I was saved, and have been living for the Lord ever since.
That's all I've ever known you to do, Mom.
I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You moved up here from Beauty, Inez, Kentucky to help babysit Uncle Don's and Aunt Grace's kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 1960, what? 1, 2?
61.
Yeah, 3 years before the biggest baby of them all was born.
Yes.
And so you met Dad and got married, and now you got all this,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So what has been, that's your biggest joy in being a mother, but what about just in life? What besides knowing the Lord, what do you feel like is the greatest accomplishment in your life? Wasn't it your second born? Wasn't that what you told me the other day? That's what you said, having me, didn't you? No.
Yes.
I know what you ever just look around the room and think, we're responsible for all this? You ever look up at the sky and look at Dad and say, why'd you leave me here all by myself with these people, right? But no, Mom's always, we'll all be nuts. I mean, we all act like we ought to be, pulled over for something half the time. We almost were tonight. There's so many of us in a van. And Mom would just be sitting in a chair somewhere over in the corner just smiling. And we all think that she's tired and wants to go to bed, but I think she's just soaking it all in, aren't you?
Yeah, oh yes.
Speaking of soaking it all in, he's soaked an awful lot in over here. The baby of the family. Justin, give us your name, rank, and certain. He's single, ladies, by the way, too. Anything you want to say then for your dating profile here in the middle of that, or
no, not at all.
Not at all. Yeah, Justin. I shouldn't have said that. It's going to be bad now, isn't it? Where you sit at right now, life is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Are you trying to sabotage this whole thing then with one? What, 2 + 2 is 4, right? At the same time.
Yeah.
Talk about some stuff that you've come through to put you where you're at. You're a miracle, because Justin's been through a lot and doesn't care to tell you about it, but he's also very happy to where he's at right now.
Yeah, I've been through a lot of things. Before I was a Christian, well, I was saved when I was a little kid. I was 7 years old, and then once I got a little older, I kind of rebelled a little bit, and I was in a bad car accident and almost died from that. And then after I broke my femur, I had a surgery, and then ended up with a blood clot in my lung. And so after that, I got right with the Lord again, but then I fell away again and ended up getting in trouble and going to jail for 6 months. And while I was in jail, that's when Dad passed away. So I was able to go to his viewing, but I wasn't able to go to his funeral. So that was a pretty hard thing. So yeah, I've been through a lot of hard things, but now life is good. I'm Christian. I got a good job. Got a place to live. I mean, everything's good.
New teeth. Man,
Yeah.
you got all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things to go through, as hard as it was to lose Dad, which that was extremely hard, obviously, that night. But you coming into the visitation, was all we could do was cry when you came in there, and you got to come down, you got to see Dad, let you be around. When I saw you walk away and they took you off and you left that day, I didn't know if I'd ever see you again. And that I can't describe my emotion then. I can't tell you how proud I am of you now, by how you're living. You're with Mom. You're helping her. You turned out. It's fantastic. What's the difference in trusting God? Because they were just saying it. The guys were just a little bit ago. We talk about lip service. It's easy to talk about that, but when you're staring at the same four walls for 6 months, how'd you get through that time?
Well, it was hard. I mean, I wasn't a Christian at the time, but I mean, I would still read the Bible and everything in there. I mean, it's in jail. It's not fun at all. I mean, it's terrible. It's like waking
jail,
up.
huh?
It's like waking up. It's a nightmare every day. When you wake up in there, you're like, wow, I'm really here. It's not a nightmare. It's real. So yeah, there's just no easy way to get through it. So yeah, I'll never say that I'm bored again.
How'd you spend your time? Did they let you just sleep in, or?
Yeah, you could sleep all day if you want to.
I saw when Mike Tyson was in jail, they had like a weight room and a sauna and a country club.
Well, that's prison for rich people. I'm not either. So
what are we laughing about jail for?
Yeah.
This is horrible, isn't it?
But yeah, it's not fun. You could sleep all day if you want. They give you 3 meals. You don't really know what you're eating most of the time, but it's some kind of mystery meat and
spam or treat.
Yeah.
How about no? What is it like? It is on TV. I think about jail and I'm thinking like you're walking around. There's a guy that's getting ready to shank you, or beat you up, or you get.
I mean, that could happen. I mean, but it's not as bad as. I mean, prison is worse than jail. But I mean, people can do that in there. I mean, because it's so boring that you have nothing else to do but people fighting, stealing stuff from each other, pick on each other. I mean, there's nothing. That's all there is really to do. So.
But where you're at in life right now, you've gone through all that stuff. It's made you a better person now, because I can tell without reservation. Everybody in the other room yell out loud, "Isn't he not the favorite of everything? Isn't he the life of the party?"
Oh yeah.
Did you hear that right there? Yeah, he's
saying that.
All the grandkids love him, the nieces and nephews, dogs and cats, birds and bees. I mean, it's all about Leon. He makes them laugh. That's why we call him all the things that he does. I think your joy is even more so now because you're happy where you've been and you're not going back.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. If you go through a lot of bad things and then you make it through it, it makes life a lot easier. You don't sweat the small things that happen to you.
Isn't that the truth? And you never really did.
No.
That's probably why you end up where you were. But at the same time, when you're thinking about life and you're dealing with stuff now, it's like, boy, I've been to the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, the rock bottom.
I don't really have to worry about a flat tire, or putting my teeth in backwards or something crazy like that,
Yeah.
You got to be able to just roll with life.
Hold on, we're going to edit this stuff about my teeth, man.
I'm just talking about that teeth in backwards is all. Mom, when you had 4 kids, he tried to swallow himself once. It was ugly. You have 4 kids. We're all unique. Right? You can all tell by looking at us that we're a family.
Yeah.
But when you have each one of them, you have us all dedicated. Obviously, the number one thing it is you want to make sure that we know the Lord. But when you have them, where does a mother's heart come into watching their kids grow up? Do you live their ups and downs with them?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
How do you handle that?
Talk to the Lord about you. And I am very thankful that Brian...
Where's Brian? Right here? Yeah.
This Brian.
This is Brian. There's more than one Brian? I had no idea.
I'm thankful that you are what you are.
Well, you helped turn me into what
Yes,
I am.
yeah.
So I thank you. I'm a mama's boy. That one in there, and this one, and the other one. Everybody would go in the store and they'd leave mom in the car, and I would think, well, why are we doing that? Somebody's going to steal her. And Dad would always say they'd bring her back if they did steal her. But I would worry about mom. I would walk. I'd hold her hand. I'd sit in the car with her. I'd worry about all kinds. I wouldn't want to leave her in the house by herself because I always worried about stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I was a worried one. But turns out, listen, this face right here, it looks real innocent now. Every time I tried to do something, anytime we tried to get in trouble, I was worried about God, but I was more worried about mom. Weren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm still afraid of mom.
I'm with you, man, for sure. Anybody in that room afraid of mom?
Yeah.
That's a choir of yeah right there, isn't it? And why is that? Why are we afraid of you? We're afraid of you because we don't want to disappoint you.
Okay.
Half the time, if I did anything wrong, it wasn't that I realized it was a sin. It was just I didn't want to see mom's that disappointment. Son, I thought better of you right before she whipped me, but still yet. Well, you don't know what a whipping feels like.
Well, I got whipped daily.
By who?
Mom and Dad.
You whipped him? When did you ever whip him?
Mom, yeah, you did, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Deke, the greatest story of whipping was Cecil made her so mad one time. She was wearing if you know what a duster is, it's like a little jacket that you wear more like a robe. And he mouthed off. I know you can't imagine Cecil Farmer ever mouthing off. But do you remember that when that happened? Mom was so
I
mad
wasn't born.
that she took off the little belt, the duster belt, which amounted like to a napkin as far as being very tight. And she was getting ready. She's swatting him on the back of the legs like that. I mean, you could do that all day long and never feel it. And he started laughing. And I'm like, this is going to get ugly. I'm getting out of here. Mom started laughing because she realized what she was doing and got him out of the way. So every time before I did anything wrong, I just made sure she had that duster on because I didn't want to get in trouble anymore, right? Parenting is not easy. Being a kid isn't always easy either when it comes to that. But you got a good job now. You got digital headphones. Things are really good. How do you look at now when you look back where you were and you see where you are now?
Oh yeah.
What motivates you to just continue to make progress in your life?
Well, to see where I was at before. I mean, there was a time. I was homeless. I didn't know where I was going to get my next meal, where I was going to sleep, where I was going to have anything. I mean, so you're looking at that stuff. I mean, life is easy now. You know what I mean? I mean that's pretty rough to think. Man, I don't know where I'm going to sleep at tonight.
Mm-hmm.
People got it made and they have no idea about it.
That's
So.
right.
You got to think of that. Some people have been through a lot worse stuff than anybody's ever dreamed of.
That's right. That's right. Always count your blessings. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm a blessing too, right?
I guess.
You count the blessings when it comes to that. What's your? We have had so much fun and we've laughed so much, but honestly, family's where it's at. Even when you were away from us, when I live away, when we got all this stuff going on, it comes down to family, and last couple of days has really shown that to me, how important family is, and how important it is to have people have your back no matter what.
Yes.
And I'm thankful for our family because we have that.
Right.
And I'm just thankful. There's a lot of times I cry. I'm 50 years old. I still cry for my mom at night sometimes because I don't understand, or I'm hurt, or I don't like what's going on. And I'm just thankful that I have you to lean on and to trust, just like I do the Lord. Thankful I got brothers and my sister. My sister's not here. If she was, we'd put her on here, but. To have family to lean upon. I think that's what the world's missing now, is a family unit that no matter what sticks up for each other and hangs in there with each other.
Yes.
So I want to thank you for that. Mom, any parenting or marriage last words before we hang up here? What do you tell the people that are out there struggling to parent and they just can't figure out how to raise kids? What would you say?
Lean on the Lord.
Lean on the Lord.
Yeah.
Justin, what do you tell people out there to keep themselves out of trouble and keep themselves out of
Yeah,
danger?
don't forget. I mean, you want to move forward with your life and keep going, but don't ever forget where you came from, so you don't ever go back there again.
Right.
So always remember that, where God has brought you from.
We're going to bring in my nephew Owen and my brother Cecil again. Just come on in here right now real quick, you guys. Get over there and stand there. This will be fast right here. So this is my sister's son, Owen, and this is like, I can't have a podcast apparently without his face on here, but here is Owen and here is Cecil now, and we're talking just for a minute here. about life and stuff. Owen, my nephew, you're 16.
Yeah.
Got your temps.
Yep.
He's also single, ladies. I mean, at 16.
You guys good looks for me, man.
What else you gonna be but single at 16, right? Going into your junior year of high school. What do you wanna be when you grow up?
I want to be like either an engineer or an architect.
What do you wanna engineer? What kind of engineer?
I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just gonna just see where it goes, you know.
Cool.
Just gonna.
Just kind of let the wind blow and see where it takes you. And what do you want to be when you grow up?
I think I'm already old, man.
Let's say doesn't need to wear glasses anymore, right?
Yeah.
So if we come through here, we had a good ride, all four of us together, you three and my sister, all four of us together in one place. That doesn't happen very often. Owen, what do you appreciate about having a big family that loves each other?
It's just, I like, all the people, around me. I like having a big family, it's a lot of people to talk to. It keeps life interesting, I guess, and it's never boring, which I appreciate it.
Can you say that last part again a little bit louder?
It's never boring.
Never boring. If we'd had a camera on what we've been doing here this weekend, it would have been crazy, wouldn't it? When you go into, your sister's going to start going to college, which means eventually she's going to move out. That means you're going to be the oldest one in the house. How you feel about that?
I'm kind of happy that she's moving out. But
Excuse me.
Did you hear that, Luke? Yeah.
But no, really, it's just I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to feel. It's more just like just another chapter of my life. Just like one less person in the house. Like just see what happens. See how.
How do you deal with change?
I just kind of think about it and just accept that, there's nothing really I can do about it, so I might as well just make the most of it,
That's pretty good.
Just go with it,
Mm-hmm. If it's stuff you can't control, you just pray about it and move on and let it form you into who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. How do you deal with change?
Well, I mean, change is a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. I don't think anybody, you get comfortable a certain way, but change is part of life, so you have to deal with it.
I think it's all happened this year for sure. Has been a lot of change for all of us, right? Even in the family.
Yeah.
As things change, the love of a family doesn't change though, right?
Yeah.
And we have to stick it out and be there together. That's what I love about our family. We just try to find ways to stay connected, go pick each other up, go places. We went 4 different places to eat, 2 of them for supper at the same time. But the thing was, we all end up in the same place when the night's over with. And here we are together, right? For sure. That's awesome. Love you guys. Love you very much. Good to see you. So it's been Family Day here on the TheGroveCast. So thank you for being with us. And where you going? You ain't done. You get back over here, man. Yeah. Everybody come in here now for the closing shot. Let's try to squeeze in here. We all fit in the van, didn't we? Remember, TheGroveCast2@gmail.com. That's the email for the podcast. If you've got any ideas or suggestions, prayer requests, praises, whatever it is for the podcast in the coming days, this is going to be one of my favorite ones though, because we're all in here together. Here we are, and everybody's going to say cheese. My sister-in-law, who's way too bashful, she's got a bad headache in there. Hopefully she still won't have it when this hits. But middle kids, we got the power going on for that, right? I love you. I grew up with Melissa too. But it's just been good to all be. There's Lexicon. She showed up. Lexi, you want to talk about what a great uncle I am too?
No.
I'll cry over that one too here in a little bit, right? Turn it more over that way. All right. So on the count of 3, everybody yell Merry Christmas. It looks like a Christmas card here, doesn't it? This is my family. I love them. I appreciate them. They've got my back no matter what. Listen, remember, if you've got family you haven't talked to in a long time, make sure you call them. Make sure you love them, because you don't know when you're going to have the opportunity again. And make the most of the times you've got with them that God's blessed you, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. We've taken these last 2 days and squeezed them like a sponge. And I appreciate that. I love every one of you very much. And so from our family to yours, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad, whatever else we can say for Wakanda, right? That's it with us. But catch us next time. Thanks for watching. That's a wrap. There we go. Yay!